After centuries of chasing better answers, I'm coming back a skilled but broken man. That's where I heard my calling as a dreamer, where my journey into the set once began. It's sometimes strange how a place can keep its spirit, although its flesh is but a dimming ghost. Uncanny feeling comes along this visit, like missing person's picture on the post. I know this spring, and this, and this, and this, and these I laid myself in best of faith. I know this floor, I know this here every corner. Here I have spent so many nights and days. Here all the things we used to keep as sacred are broken now, covered with the moss. A cup of pain we used to drink on Fridays, stained glass as well of Chief's dragging cross. I say hello to old ants and beetles, crawling on the white and fragile bones. There is some damage done to walls and steeples, but what if we rebuild it stone by stone? Then little worm that wriggles on a painting, it looks at me and says, "Oh, stranger, now. You left this house when it was yours and waiting, but now the house has left you longer."
No hi havia a València dos... Tot ho recordo mentre vas estenent la roba. Han passat anys, molts anys, i han passat moltes colzes. De sobte em pren aquell vent a l'amor i rodolem per terra entre bressos i abassos. No comprenem l'amor com un costum amable, com un costum de compliment i veles. Es desperta de sobte com un vell huracà i ens tomba en terra. Ens ajunta, ens empeny. Jo desitjava voltes un amor educat. En marxa el tocadís. Terra. Què voleu que hi faça? Elemental. Ignorem el patriarca. Ignorem moltes coses. Les estrofes d'arriba. Comprenem que són bàrbars i que això no deu ser, i que deu ser això.
Like a swallow. Nothing is quite as sleek as swallow flight. Watched in awe as one swooped across my field, feeding on insects above new mown hay. Such beauty in low-slung sunset evening. That night I drift quickly into a dream. I'm in flight above Andalusia. Mediterranean Sea glints below. And by my side flies swallow I watched today. It turns its head towards me, winks an eye, then swoops low over beach at La Linea. I follow. Late October sun warms back. There are hundreds of us, all together. I have wings. I can fly. I am free, like swallows. Somehow, I know exactly what to do. We glide on across Straits of Gibraltar towards mountains of western Morocco. I have never felt such freedom as this. It feels so real to be up with swallows as they head home away from our winter. Awake when a sunbeam plays on my face, but my mind is still in that airborne space. I need wings for to fly, to be free like swallows.
My name is Olesya Miftahova. I'm from Ukraine. ОКР. Чи чули ви зізнання? Боюся смерті. О, це про мене. Страхаюся, лякаюся, жахаюся. Ну, ви зрозуміли. Так ось, я винайшла універсальну формулу, що давала безсмертя. Я знала 9 слів, які рятували від Хроносу. І я знала, що це ніби магія. Харон дивився на мене трохи презирливо, але що вдієш? Я знала ці 9 слів. Коли мені здавалося, що сіра цеглина неминуче впаде на мою голову, я запитувала невисокого чоловіка, що йшов поряд: «Скажи, вона ж точно не впаде?» Він спокійно відповідав: «Точно, точно, точно». І я не вгамовувалася: «Скажи чесно?» І він відповідав: «Чесно, чесно, чесно». І я підбивала підсумки: 100% певен, 100%, 100%, 100%. Я заспокоювалася і жила далі, така легка, така щаслива, така сильна і безсмертна. Ми йшли вулицею з іншим. Ми сміялися. Ми їли морозиво. «Ідеальні?» – спитали би. «Ідеальні», – відповіла б. Та коли раптом мені здалося, що смерть чекає мене за рогом, то сахнулася і спитала: «А я точно не помру?» Інший сказав: «Що за маячня? Звідки мені знати? Ніхто цього не знає, я не візьму на себе таку відповідальність». І я подумала: дійсно, він має рацію. І померла тієї ж миті. Та інший того не знав. Ми пішли додому, і він жив зі мною іще років зо 3. Недовго і нещасливо. Мій давній знайомий, з яким ми бачимось не надто часто, каже, що після кожного гарно написаного вірша в нього виникає гостре бажання закурити. Він виходить на балкон, підпалює міцну цигарку і повільно вдихає і видихає тонкий струмінець диму. Дивиться, як хмари кидають один одному місяць, як миготить світло у вікнах сусідніх будинків, як поспішають пізні перехожі, як виють собаки, як десь на задвірках чутно такий старий, але такий дорогий серцю рок-н-рол. Нещодавно я написала йому повідомлення. Запитала, як він і що нового. Він відповів, що вже більше року не курив. Змалечку, забивши колінця, я бігла до бабуні, яка швидкою приказкою обробляла мої подряпини. Не були, онученьки, забули у киці. Хай болить у собачки, хай болить у сороки. Коли я лежала із високою температурою, коли хвороба виснажувала моє дитяче тільце, засмучена бабуня промовляла: Господи Боже, Хай би я захворіла, а не дитя. Я хочу забрати її біль. Час ішов. До весілля лишалось недовго. Рани гоїлись. Цілюща сила приказок. Після одруження рубіж було перетнуто. Шлюб виявився ще одною раною, а ліки скінчились. Я лежу у ліжечку. Бабуня лежить у землі. Я йду на роботу. Бабуня лежить у землі. Я святкую на родини. Бабуня лежить у землі. Я на операційному столі. Бабуня лежить у землі. Я гукаю бабуню. Бабуня лежить у землі. Темноокий лікар, нахилившись, запитує. Як ви себе почуваєте? Що болить? Промовляю. У киці не були. У собачки не були. У сороки не були.
A woman's sentiment. If I polish my nails, I can feel them darring. I do the dishes and don't care much for the cost of the expensive glimmering of enamel of my fingers. After 4 days, my withered female essence leaves behind the fancy flesh and returns to its artless origins dipped in acetone. I am doing my nails again in my mechanized kitchen, filled with the smell of the dishwasher on the bowls. I wonder that luxury means. Polish my nails, or confiding my dishes to a machine that is less than perfect.
Hi there. This is Timothy Evans, and many, many moons ago, I had the privilege of being the head coach of a 15, 16-year-old soccer team on tour in Europe. And on that tour, we had the privilege of visiting the Principality of Liechtenstein. In honor of that visit, this is my poem to Liechtenstein. An Ode to Liechtenstein by Timothy Paul Evans. Nestled in its alpine crook, the monarchy loiters in sweet summer bliss, its afternoon fields lazing beneath the sun, your dew-soaked low country a sparkling gem, the day content to linger along young Rhine River's flank, the forest and the glen, elm and linden frolic among steep angled mountains' edge, the herdsman and his flock, its castle battlements the guardian of its soul. At nightfall comes a different story. Its heart beats to an oompa polka, kicks up its heels to an oompa band. Oompa, oompa, oompa, oompa. All the day's weariness put to bed. Thank you.
This is a poem by Kieran Bevel called But, and I'm reading it just as the Palestine March has ended here in Cork City, Ireland. But I want to tune my mind to the wild notes that float on the wings of salted air, but bombs are falling on Gaza. And the sea breeze sounds like women wailing for their dead children. I want to sit by a gurgling stream and dream, but bombs are falling on Gaza. And the bleeding water screams as it rushes past to fill an ocean of grief. I want to eulogize the beauty of yellow and russet leaves this autumn day, but bombs are falling on Gaza. And the flying leaves expose the dark skeletons of bereaved trees. Maybe in spring I will have a different song to sing.
An awkward alien graveyard of missing parts protracts magnificently. Colossal blades carve through the wasteland. Dark dreams broken by static-powered waves, never quite reaching the intersection of disconnected pathways. Parallel pieces puzzle uneasy memories blur. Distance hurtles unsound, slipping over the sealed line to corrugated roads, where dirt meets asphalt, wide empty fields deafen. The past laid out ahead, lost in plains.
Hi, I'm Maria Krivokapic from Montenegro. I'll read my poem, my wayfarer, my peregrinate, my gallivant in Montenegrin. Ugazi onamo gdje je ti kiša natopila zemlju i kreni putniče, ili si ti protuhav, vagabund. Ugazi bosom nogom u zemlju natopljenu kišom, vječno basalo potucaču. Ugazi u horizont kiše i blata, skitničaru, onamo gdje se krugovi vode u zemlji blatnjavoj stiču. Zgazi, stani i kreni i padni u kružnicu blata, selioče, i padni koljenom u blatnjavu spiralu i laktom lutelice, i laktom, i miškom, i ramenom u zori blatnjavu brazdu, i miškom i butinom u zori leventio, mrčeniče, s čelom palim u blatnjave skute, s muljem u nosu, s bradom zarivenom u kaljugu zemlje. Poliži beskućniče, obliži svoj rov, zari sebe u mekano blato, okupaj se u glibu, nomadska fukaro. Thank you.
I can't write today. There's things need doing. Bills to pay. The laundry won't put itself away. I can't write today. I've got to-do lists and not done lists a mile long. And every little thing that could possibly ever go wrong needs to be anticipated and calculated. Life's so complicated. I can't write today. Classes to prep and papers to grade. Got to do the job for which I'm paid. It seems that's the choice I've made, so tough. It's not just me needing me to be doing stuff, and whatever I do, it will never be enough. There's housework and paperwork and financial complications and professional commitments and marital obligations. And the kids need feeding and they're getting bored. Writing's a luxury I simply can't afford. There's that friend I haven't called back since forever. And to be honest, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. I can't write today. I don't have time to sleep, let alone write. There's so many things to keep me up at night, and once I finally get to bed, there's no peace from the noise inside my head. Thoughts untamed, texts unwritten, words unsaid. Then the alarm is set for dawn's first light to ensure once more tomorrow I'll be too tired to write. Je ne peux pas écrire aujourd'hui. J'ai trop de choses à faire. Tant pis. Je ne sais même plus qui je suis. Je ne peux pas écrire aujourd'hui. J'ai tout un pied de linge à plier, plein de paperasse qu'il faut trier. J'ai toute la maison qu'il faut ranger. Et moi-même, je dois me changer. Je ne peux pas tout à coup devenir quelqu'un avec de belles choses à dire. Je ne peux pas écrire aujourd'hui, tant que je n'ai pas tout compris tout ce qui a déjà été dit. Comment pourrais-je même oser m'approprier des mots et les imposer à des cerveaux déjà débordants, dans un monde déjà si bouillant, dans un monde si rempli de mots qu'on ne peut rien entendre, tant qu'on parle trop. On a tous des petits trucs à dire. On a tous quelque chose à écrire. On est tous des poètes et des poétesses. On écrit pour s'exprimer et se soigner de nos faiblesses. On est tous des écrivains et écrivaines. Mieux vaut écrire pour soulager ses peines. Mieux vaut écrire que se jeter contre un mur, quand le poids semble si lourd et le chemin si dur. Quand la bataille semble être perdue d'avance, quand la haine règne en maître et que la justice n'a aucune chance. Il faut écrire pour faire de nos mots des boucliers contre l'incompréhension et la fatalité. Nos textes, nos grenades, nos rimes, nos épées. C'est pour ça que j'écrirai aujourd'hui, parce que écrire, c'est se battre contre le hasard de la vie.
Hi, this is Bengt Björklund from Stockholm, Sweden. On my 76th birthday, one day, one breath, day grey and tender, tempting my heart with impossible dreams, picking life threads from windy branches, daring any future to be a part of the particle dance we all are, and in love with the life that moves with skin and bones through the visible, surf-like in turns and singing, old man moss and whispering in birds and bees of serenity, a bleeding, roaring, folding all days. I breathe regret and joy to the billowing, happiness burning with sorrow, but I still hold a new tomorrow here in the longing of my
Hello, my name is Christian Guttersen and I am representing Iceland. This poem is called Song for Tala. Number 1. Remember when I hugged you and traced my fingers down your spine? That was when the creative energy traced the bond between us. Number 2. It needed to be done. We were white roses waiting for autumn in the garden. It needed to be sung. We were travelers, blind to origins of our thoughts, between implicit and explicit repercussions of past experience. It had to be experienced to be understood. We fought the lightning bats, held hands at a jazz concert, escaped the city just for a day. It needed to be put to rest. We were wandering souls, and we loved like birds of passage. We were white roses waiting for each other, and the autumn of soft, gentle rain.
La casa della luce, Alessandro Scotti. Da Marco discendo, ma di Venezia non sono. La Cina non posseggo, ma 1.000.000 nascondo. Nell'impero di Roma il mio trono proteggo. Dalla casa di luce io mi affaccio e vedo i tuoi occhi. Il paradiso posseggo, ma tutto l'oro del mondo non basta per comprare il mare. Neanche la Sfinge mi può consolare.
I'm Zila Nunes from Portugal, and now my poem in Portuguese. Desci ao submundo, à dor, à origem de tudo. Desci como quem deixa um vestido que abandona no chão do quarto. Anónima, sem tocha, sem mapa. Desci com o frio entre os dentes e o corpo com dor a vela apagada. Não há regresso no primeiro umbral. A porta da gruta era a tua ausência, uma úlcera a sangrar no fundo do meu ventre, vestígios sombrios da tua despedida. O tempo amudo aqui, apenas a respiração dos ossos. Não há luz, há frio e a lágrima gelada. Não há Orfeu, nem canto, nem lira, há apenas o silêncio e a alma vazia. Um corrimão de espectros, fósseis antigos que sussurram memórias de quem fui. A menina que acreditava nas estrelas, a mulher que gritava de loucura, a fera que sangrava no lacheiro. O sofrimento é um espelho e cada sombra ventre pronto a parir na travessia. Bordava o meu corpo no ponto cruz, enquanto bebia a minha dor num vaso gritado. A boca cheia de palavras naufragadas, o ventre aberto ao oráculo das sibilas. Não para desviver, apenas para voltar à vida. Colei as cartas rasgadas e as juras quebradas e bebi da fonte negra de Perséfone. E retornei com os segredos que furtei à morte, ainda incompleta, seminua. Voltei com um poema alojado no peito e um grito na garganta. Uma lâmina que sangrava e ainda sangra a minha dor. Obrigada. Gratitude.
Hello, my name's Paul Ings and I'm reading to you from the Czech Republic. I have selected and translated the following poem by Josef Čapek, written during his imprisonment in the Second World War. It's called Come Here to Us. Flowers, clouds, wind and birds, everything alive and which moves, make haste to us, come among us and remain here. A better life and more beautiful world appears to us where wind and song merge into one, with the sun, the cloud and the blossoms out there. Come as raiders crashing in streams of light, with all in the world that is beauty, and the good that you have life. Contained within yourself that grandeur and power, the bouquets of joy, the smiles drawn across the skies. Come here in haste to our aid, bring comfort to us above all, for it's those distances that are what's beautiful to those imprisoned. What brims with righteous joy, come freedom, return life and the world to us. But wait, first, return life to life, the world to the world, and then remember us. Lead those captive to your beyond. Thank you.
İsmim Aycan Saraçoğlu, Kıbrıslıyım. My name is Aycan Saraçoğlu. I am Cypriot.
Yasemin kokar koynum. Aşk adasıdır bu ada. Afrodite uzanır soyum sopum. Yasemin kokar koynum. Sevdasız yürek, Yaseminsiz bahçe olmaz. Yar uzaktayken uyku tutmaz. Dil kıysa da kalp kıymaz. Sevdiğine toz kondurmaz. Destan olmuş cesur yürekler, dilden dile türküler söyler. Yamandır sevgiler, yamandır aşklar Kıbrıs'ta. Aşk adasıdır bu ada. Afrodite uzanır soyum sopum. Yasemin kokar koynum. Yasemin kokar koynum.
Hello, I'm Karina Fiorini, I'm Maltese, and I'm going to read a poem entitled Grigal's Mouth. Grigal's mouth shakes her nuts free, shifts brain cells, hurricanes roach bodies on doorsteps. Still, the peroxide head pegs a smile on dizzy clothes. Still, the abysses nun got a habit, walks on, holds her veil. It is time, it is time, it is time to recall. It is time, it is time, it is time to recall that in the Med Sea, bodies thrown off kilter, whirling currents as the Grigal mouths knapweeds, spindrifts limestone, bells howl in Zabar. It is time, it is time, it is time to recall. It is time. It is time, it is time to recall that across villages, bold waters run off roofs, coffins float in army, cross-eyed rain pelts farmed sea bream in Shamshia streets. Still, the girl pencils pronouns at the Valletta funeral parlor. Still, the gale wakes Momus from slumber as Grigal mouths tensions against the old cult. Thank you.
Hi, dear friends. I'm Rosalia Alexandrova from Bulgaria. Thank you, dear Finn Hall, for inviting me. I will read you my new poem from my new book, Feeling of Wellness, and poem Prayer for Bulgaria. In Bulgarian language. Молитва за България. Учи ме, Господи, до сетния ми дъх да гледам влюбено небето, да пея с песните на птиците и влъхвите, да страдам за прекършеното цвете. Учи ме, Господи, и силата ми дай в едно море да се превърна и всеки дръзнал да прегърне моя бряг, с платна от обич да прегърна. Учи ме, Господи, и вярата ми дай на мъките да видя края. Едно сърце на Тебе всеотдайно да сложа в нозете на България. Което си посял, ще го ожънеш. Което си събрал, ще го дадеш И няма да се чудиш от отвъдното, дали си бил мечта или копнеш, и няма да откриваш над небесно, че вятърът е с българско сърце, което ни е трябвало да сбъдваме. Сам Господ Бог ще въздаде. Thank you and greetings from Bulgaria.
Bine. Dicur, dimnete vișea paltă necuce, ne fiolate bores valzeane per noi, digiaia am sailing, curostai alearg, te deșiren per me puștu elirin, ia calzaia, vecearuși teșei. Sot, e cuceam John, papa sine loina vet minis de fiicene certine. De cap feihem per pacate. Feihem. Să me mot ne besniclina orusha. Că bordene bures. Zânjuren e viris.
Hi, I'm Charlie and I'm going to be representing Wales. It called me home with its enticing tune, echoing through the sandy dunes, rippling through the forests and trees, from the tips of the mountains, luscious and green, filtering down to the valleys below, where it bellows out loudly, yes, this tune I know. I followed it, knowing I was never alone, and I sang along, smiling, as I followed it home.
Hello, I am Laura Gravel, and I will be reading a poem to you from Liebenau, Austria. The poem is called The Birth. Europe is an Austrian scythe swinging through high wild grasses. Europe is the threshing of wheat, is the huge bowl of rising dough that holds us all together with the smell of fresh baked bread. Europe is the rye bread, black bread, flat bread, croissant, cob, the hawk killing the chickens, the most perfect, tiniest purple mushroom in the forest. Europe is the church procession in Poland, the Gilets jaunes in Paris, the nannies and parents on a Geneva playground speaking Italian, Japanese, Spanish, Portuguese, Hebrew, English, Russian, and French. Europe is the prostitutes walking the Champs-Élysées to the Frankfurt Street to the Vienna cobblestones. The village band in Hamburg playing on Christmas Eve. The youth conservatory in Florence playing in the piazza. Europe is the child on the train in Bavaria, the child on the tram in Zurich, the child walking home in Greece. Europe is the well-tended vineyards on hill after hill, the grandmothers in kerchiefs picking potato beetles off leaves, the milk being collected by horse-drawn wagon in Romania. Europe is the cry of a gull in Nottingham, the bark of a dog in Glasgow, the stare of the wolf in Slovakia, the gentian blooming on the mountains in Slovenia, the blueberries in Salzburg, the rocky coasts in a place once called Yugoslavia, the well-groomed forests of Lucerne, the cheese, the cheese, the cheese, the cheese, the cows, the cows, the cows, the cows. Europe is the sweet of violets on the wood's edge, the resin of the spring spruce, the stink of Afa and Milan, the reek of urine on the French street, the dense taste of Berlin, the salt breeze of Brittany. Europe is also the Kurds in London, the hijab-wearing Turks in Freistadt, the Syrian refugees in Amsterdam, the Indian priests in the Vatican, the tea house in Budiovice. Europe is the yellow blooming gorse in the abandoned quarry in Shepshed, the coated horse in an English paddock, the granite boulders of Mühlviertel and southern Sweden, the Alps, the blue sky, the eagles and orchids and snakes above Verona, the grey monotones of Leicestershire, the bluebells, the dandelions, the cold face-biting La Bise of Lac Léman, the gales of Whitstable, the roses, the thorns, the roses, the thorns, the roses, the thorns. The view from the overgrazed Peak District of the Little River Dove, the great River Rhine, the Danube that carries the stories across a continent, the prayers of many hearts and many tongues, the graves of Sutton Hoo, the fertility goddess Venus of Willendorf, the painted caves of Lascaux and Altamira, the Ukrainian man who lived 113 years, accumulating 4 passports of 4 nations in the same village. The oxen, the horses, the carts, the sleighs, the ships, the trains, the wars, the blood. Europe is the birth of Neanderthal sapiens.
Людмила Садовская, Республика Беларусь, стихотворение «Пусть всегда будет мир». Пусть всегда будет мир, с голубыми, как небо, глазами, весь в веснушках из цветов полевых, и с улыбкой, как от солнца лучами, чистым воздухом от деревьев лесных. Пусть всегда будет мир в людских душах, без зависти, злости, светлых, искренних взглядах с добром, чтоб друг к другу ходили мы в гости, чтоб без страха открывали дверь в дом. Пусть всегда будет мир, повторяю, как заклинание. Ведь земля нам для счастья дана, для любви, ярких встреч и свидания, и для песен, звучащих с утра. Пусть всегда будет мир, ведь мы гости на этой планете. Лишь мгновенье, и закончен сюжет. Вы поймите, что все мы в ответе за наш мир, за наш дом, за наш свет.
Spået virkelighed. 25.5.2020. Jeg får en dialog foræret på en skråning. Formen er lige ved at være rum. Alt er smidt omkring en stjerne. Jeg ligger ned mod jorden, som var den en væg i universet. De kan lade mig gabe over jorden og lade mig passere dialogens bjerge. Vi føler, vi kender stjernesystemet, og alt vi har til fælles er bygningers mørke. Nede for enden af vejen står en blomst, og den ligner døden. Isolation er farver, der driver forbi bjerget. Jeg mærker med det samme det sted, hvor alle ender farer fra hinanden, ukendt fænomen. Langt ude, hvor ingen kender områdets begyndelse, er vinden håndtryk. Håndtryk, der vivler rundt for at gøre stedet til en aftale. Der er en rolighed i roterende liv. Flettet sten, før rummet skæres fri af bjerget. En kniv, der sprætter tanken op. Stram ramme. Du ligger i græs under en blank himmel for at blive mødt af søvns tomme institutioner. Forsvind fra det hele. Land, når du ringer. En blød plet af det, der venter. At ligge i græsset under en blank himmel for at blive mødt af søvnens tomme institutioner. Du forsvinder fra det hele. Lander, når jeg ringer. En blød plet, det, der venter. Jeg ligger i græsset.
Turkish poet Muhsine Ardal.
Tanrı'nın yalnızlığını anlıyorum. Alıyorum ince fidanları, yontulmamış ince fidanları. Sevip okşuyor, eğip büküyorum. Öğretiyorum büyüyüp serpilmeyi, açmayı ve kokmayı. Anlatıyorum övünmeyi ve başkalarına mutluluk vermeyi. Tamam diyorum. Şimdi zamanı sevişmenin. Bu benim düşüncem. Fidanım öyle demiyor. Benim fidanım değil. Kendi kökünde büyüyor, serpiliyor ona yaslanan sarmaşıkları büyüterek. İçim burkuluyor. Sevgi, adalet. İlahi aşklarda yaşanan 21. yüzyılda geri gelir mi acep? Sevip yaratmak Tanrı'nın işi ise yalnızlığını da paylaşmak mı gerek? Teşekkür ederim.
My name is Leonard Lund, and I'm reading on behalf of Norway. I am descended from a 10th century Viking duke. My great-grandmother and my grandmother were both born in Norway. My dad is half Norwegian, and I'm a quarter Norwegian. This is from a true event, almost 70 years ago when I was in Norway. Bergen, 1958. A gray flotilla of foreign warships, made colorful by lines of pennants running fore and aft, lie at anchor in the harbor below. At a patio table near ours, a sailor in crisp summer whites asks his waitress if she speaks English. Nay, she replies. No. Bara norsk og svensk, lite fransk. Only Norwegian and Swedish, a little French. He points to items on the menu. She writes on her pad. He watches her walk away, smiles. When she returns with his meal, he pantomimes eating, drinking and dancing, points to her and himself. She nods her head and smiles. He points to his watch, holds up 9 fingers. She shakes her head, holds up 8. They shake hands, trade names. He adds a thank you. She makes a little bow. The afternoon passes, and I imagine them, the coming evening, chance strangers dining, having a drink or two, gestures and their faces the common language to enjoying their date. Having seen Fred and Ginger, I can picture them beautiful together on the dance floor, sometimes barely touching, other moments embracing, eyes always connecting. Having seen other movies, I know he walks her home, a thank you, and the briefest kiss at the door. The evening ends there, of course. She goes back to her life. He returns to the sea.
Hi guys, it's Gerald Curled in my garden in England, United Kingdom. You can hear the birds singing. Back in 2020, during lockdown, I recorded a video of my poem Come Home Gnome, featuring my good friend Eric the Gnome.
If you are a garden gnome and you're far away from home, this is just a little poem in case you're feeling blue. Other gnomes were lost before. and cross the world to their front door. Odysseus was a gnome for sure, and often lonely too. Hannibal, most scholars tell, was a garden gnome as well, who led his elephants through hell and came to pastures new. And Joan of Arc and Peter Pan were garden gnomes each to a man or woman. The rumour is that Desperate Dan was gnomic, just like you. They bore their seeding pots before the gnomes of the Round Table and many more. Some suffered poverty and war, yet came back strong and true. So cheer up, gnome, and don't despair. If you are sad and full of care, whatever trials you must bear, perhaps no change of underwear. The history of gnomes show they're always able to get through. That's what epic gnomes do. Not to mention elephants too. And I have faith in you, and I have faith in you.
Hello world, my name is Ivan Španj, I'm from Croatia, and today I'll be reading you a poem from my upcoming book, God's Hand. In a nightmare, in the world of injustice, where the warm blood of love is the price of life, I'm the last blade in defense of heart and plight. To the flame of sin, the holy water of justice. Whoever gets touched by my finger, a destiny worse than death, they linger. I'm a hand of a soul that forever dreams, the dreams of souls which last shortly. Here, into my land, you may enter promptly, even if you're evil that never reveals. But from me you can never hide. The eye of my master is open wide. Your world is nothing but an illusion. You're void of name until you come to me. Many will beg to burn, just not to be. Return to limbo and its mad confusion. I will send you back to the land of the temptation, if you're not able to see the light of redemption. After a few thousands of years more, you shall return at my sight, to be pointed by the finger of the Lord towards the shadows or the light. If you're not warmed by the truth-lit desire well, you will never know neither heaven nor hell.
Hi, I'm Antje, representing Germany. This is my poem, Summer. Summer. Summer means it's June, July or August. It means a heat wave or endless days of rain. Summer is when everything blooms. The garden transforms into a living sea of growth. People harvest strawberries, cherries, and other fruit and veg. The sun comes out, the days are longer, people have a barbecue, people go on holiday, school takes a break, children smile. Summer means grilled tomatoes and ice cream cones, sightseeing trips and outdoor fun, cycling, swimming, a walk in the park. Summer brings joy and carefree days.
So we are in the lovely city of Metz by the river, and as we were walking along here, I thought of an impromptu poem.
Oh, super. Very impressed.
This poem is in the voice of a character called True Seeress, and this character was created by myself. So this is not my normal everyday voice. And so this poem is called The River of Truth. As you float along the river of truth, O wanderer, keep your eyes open about you. Be sure of the path that you're following. Be aware of undercurrents that can come and take you somewhere else. And as you are floating along serenely, from time to time, deep breathly, and enjoy your journey. From time to time, pause to feel the nature around you, the greenery, the healing power of water, the force of water, and the blue sky, which is endless for millions and millions of miles above your head. You can let yourself go. You can release all tensions and decompress. And if you meet any flowers on your path, do take the time to stop and to smell and to really inhale the fragrance, the essence of the healing scent of flowers. You can thank the bees and butterflies as they pollinate our earth to keep, so that the earth can keep producing these plants that we consume, that go in our herbal medicines and that help us in so many ways. We should be so grateful to nature, for nature is giving us and helping us in so many ways that we don't even know yet. And as you are floating on the river of life, just don't float mindlessly all the time. Sometimes it's good to release your thoughts and just to go with the flow. And sometimes for your overall arc of life, it's important to have a goal, to know where you're going, and also how you are going, what are you doing on the way. But in the end, remember that life is a journey, which is a cliche, but it's true. Life is a journey, and it's the journey that counts. And as you're going on this journey, don't forget to give your gratitude to any birds, any swans that you happen to encounter, for these are blessings to earth given to us from Mother Nature. And the birds, fish, and animals can teach us a lot. Other people passing by can also teach us a lot with their laughter and jokes and their way of being. And so everything around us can inspire us at different moments in time. So I wish you well on your journey, on your journey of life, and I hope that the river of life treats you kindly and takes you to the way where you want to go. Thank you, O wanderer.
Thank you, Sultana.
Lucilla Trapazzo, Switzerland. This is a poem about war and women. First in Italian, then in English. Piado quaquamon glasis pen raffram fuoi avanvi gam o crapan a bom. Andarono in piazza le donne. Quando la montagna glabra si spense, raccoglievano frantumi di fuoco fra, e ancora avanzi di vita, ancora una gamba, un omero, un cranio nelle pance aride. Ne fecero scampoli per abiti che non indossarono. Il silenzio rimase un momento incagliato nei resti dell'ultima bomba. per dimostrare di esistere. Boom. E poi, di nuovo gli uccelli. And the women took to the streets. When the barren mountain went dark, to gather shards of fire and remnants of life, a leg, a humerus, a skull, cradled in their barren wombs. They turned them into scraps of cloth, garments they never wore. Silence lingered for a fraction of time, caught in the wreckage of the last bomb, just to prove his existence. Then, once again, the birds.
Los estrógenos son antiinflamatorios, tienen efecto antiinflamatorio, los protegen, no los cuidan.
Buenos días, buenas tardes o buenas noches. En primer lugar me presentaré. Me llamo Antonio José Caral Sobrera, seudónimo Logro, desde San Agustín, Teruel, Aragón, España. Es un placer mandar este vídeo y espero que sea de vuestro agrado. De todas formas, bueno, ahí vamos. Ya poco se puede hacer hoy contra la pena. Pero se ha de poner siempre el grano de arena. Nunca se levanta la mano, sola se disipa la bruma. Se diferencia al tirano con un golpe de pluma. Saliendo del anonimato, sin miedo a decir, ya basta de asesinato, todo pueblo merece vivir. Siempre con su razón, en días malos y mejores, con su propia religión y siempre con propios valores. Pero en esta cruel realidad, a los pobres desgraciados, por mantener su identidad, ellos son asesinados. Pero sin caer en el olvido, porque por necesidad, con todo aquello acontecido, quedará para la eternidad. La paz no se alcanza nunca con el exterminio, solo crece el deseo de venganza siempre en ese dominio. ¿Acaso existe una razón para seguir bombardeando? Ya que la muerte y destrucción al final se acaba cosechando. Las guerras ya no son ganadas, enviando a pobres muchachos a lúgubres barricadas. Hoy las guerras se ganan en los despachos. Da igual el poder militar o todo aquello que se posea. Solo se valora al que te desea volar y valora lo que él desea. Porque con los derechos negados y con toda la sinrazón, en algunos mercados sube la cotización. Los humanos somos insignificantes. Ahora todo ya se ha perdido. Ahora el oro y los diamantes son el valor añadido. Será causa del progreso, pasando por la necesidad. ¿Será que vamos en retroceso siempre hacia la precariedad? Esa es la cruel sentencia del actual capitalismo, que cuando hace acto de presencia muestra todo su cinismo. Siempre sin medida, cuando todo pierde su valor, da igual quien pierda la vida, mientras que el de siempre esté mejor. 25 del 5 del 2025, San Agustín, Teruel, Aragón, España. Derechos reservados de autor, Antonio José Caral Sobrera. Muchas gracias.
My name is Anna Maria Stępień. I come from Poland, and this is my poem. Here and now, remain forever in this moment, when by the warmth of the sun the skin is caressed, the sounds of nature all around. Nature its joyful tidings spreads to all and sundry, far and wide. Life is wonderful, just look, don't sleep, you human, Don't give in to worries, a poison to your life. Immerse oneself in the here and now, though ready to flee far away not once. Brood over something that has passed, or with your thoughts run forward. What good can it do it? It is not worth it. A day of spring with singing filled, leisurely moments, Sunday time. May I be carried by butterflies, may birds in my heart play today. Most beautiful concert, so serene, the chasing of all troubled, worrying thoughts. Amidst the calling of the frogs and cooing of the doves in love, I'll swathe myself in the spring colors. My little world is also joyous. Greenery, blue skies, a pheasant cries. The air is full of winged sounds. The world wakes up, and so do I. Cheerful and calm on this day, now with no rush, and not stressed out. All fears disappeared. What is, let it be. O life of mine, just carry me. And now in Polish. Tu i teraz. W chwili pozostać tej na zawsze, gdy słońca ciepło skórę pieści. Dźwięki przyrody dookoła. Przyroda swe radosne wieści wszem wobec przekazuje. Życie jest piękne, zobacz, nie śpij człowieku, zmartwieniu nie daj się, co życie truje. Zanurzyć się w tym, co tu i teraz. Choć chcesz uciekać daleko nieraz, rozpamiętywać, co minęło, albo myślami biec do przodu. Cóż przyjdzie z tego? Szkoda zachodu. Wiosenny dzień dziś rozśpiewany, niedzielny czas, nieśpieszne chwile. Dam dzisiaj ponieść się motylom, pozwolę ptakom w sercu zagrać koncerty najpiękniejsze, tak spokojne, że z myśli skołatanych przepędzają wojnę. Słucham się w żab nawoływanie, gołębi zakochanych pogruchiwanie, otulę kolorami wiosny. Mój mały świat też dziś radosny, zieleń, błękity, bażant krzyczy, powietrze dźwięków skrzydlatych pełne. Budzi się świat i budzę ja. Spokojna i radosna dzisiaj, już bez pośpiechu i bez stresów. Obawy znikły gdzieś. Co jest, niech będzie. Życie nieś. Thank you.
Line 13. My trembling personality, my galloping personality. Let my flaws in, let my virtues in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal behaviour. Riding with warrior duties, flying with festive ceremonies. Ancestors and descendants transforming protogenic instinct and barbarity into cultured, refined nobleness. All personalities becoming one. Following the smoke of Ithaca, wayfaring my own boat. Ruins behind, dreams ahead, expectations blending with sirens' songs. Punishments and rewards, repenting and enriching our voyage. Crusading, descending and ascending, scarring and rejuvenating. My trembling mind, my galloping mind. Let my fears in, let my visions in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal reality. Riding past fallen Troy, flying towards sacred temples. Poetry and prophecies, transforming missions and experiences into immortal knowledge and treasures. All minds becoming one. Unadorned words enchanting the fiery dragon of the golden fleece. Angels and darts all ablaze, burning down all moles. Prometheus gifting profound new templates and ideologies. lighting up matter and spirit, earth and sky. My trembling heart, my galloping heart, let my sorrows in, let my raptures in, battling, balancing between earthly and ideal love, riding through tempestuous waves, flying through moonlit water lilies, cocooning chrysalids, transforming hurt and trauma into hardened malts, all hearts becoming one, hovering above earth's wounds, embracing the altar of healing. Mystical muses weaving threads of sweetness, of solace. Resilient yarns guiding us through labyrinths of personal growth. Initiating, elevating each journey of each relationship. My trembling soul, my galloping soul, let my sins in, let my blessings in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal liberation. Riding into dichotomized horizons, flying into cosmic rays. Eternal divine laws transforming dark ancient forces into golden propulsion and pulsation. All souls becoming one. Lighting my own path, a path unique to me. Purgatory sun, holding turmoiled memories, inflexible desires, escaped hopes. Rising and setting in the azure of the sea, in the azure of the spirit. Surging into eternity with full sails, all my efforts maturing. Our trembling civilizations, our galloping civilizations. Let our tribulations in, let our exaltations in. Battling, balancing between earthly and ideal humanity. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Caroline Mackey and I'm here representing the Netherlands because I've lived here as a Scot for 46 years. It's called The Ballad of the Bridge and I wrote it in August 2021. The young girl and her friends played there every day of the holidays. It's where they went. They all loved the sight of the towers above them. The tunnels below were just a 7 cent. The place was a haven right next to the river and all of them loved it and hadn't a care. They'd spend the whole day doing just what kids do with the bridge overhead, always there. The bridge was their favourite place. It sheltered them all if it rained. The bridge was a crossing. The bridge was a place they came back to 10 times again. Well, the years, they rolled on as they do for us all, though the call of the bridge stayed alive. She'd visit it every time she was home and remembered how they would all strive to climb to the top without using the road. It no longer looked quite as high. But she never did shelter beneath it again, and she knew that its myth was a lie. The bridge was her favourite place. It sheltered her even when raining. The bridge was a crossing. The bridge was a place she came back to her whole life remaining. She'd moved far away and of course she was married. Her child she told of her youth. But never, despite all the guilt that she carried, did she tell her the real awful truth. She'd carried it far and too long held it close. She'd never forget the day, the very last day that they went to the bridge, when they promised not ever to say. The bridge, such a hateful place. It haunted her, all of her dreams. The bridge was a curse. The bridge was a place where she knew she could still hear the screams. She was old now, and never once did she forget what had happened that day to her friend. They normally never went up on the track, but it all was a game of pretend. It happened so fast, and it took her some years to get over the sights that she'd seen. The others, she knew, were all traumatised too, and the blood they could never quite clean. The bridge, such a beautiful place. She hated the place to a fault. The bridge was for trains, and the bridge was a place where her friend died, now lying in a vault. She follows the road now, there's no need to climb until she's over the water. Then climbing the barrier, still holding tight, her last thoughts are just for her daughter. She flies for a moment, the feeling was wild. No more will she harbour the thought that she was to blame for the death of that child, or she'd pushed her that day, never caught. The bridge was the very last place where she ended her days, as was right. The bridge could be once again fun for the kids, and the tunnels once more full of light. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Leong, also known as Soy Avocado. I wrote these poems inspired by Andorra, and of course, I represent Andorra. After Plenza's 7 poets situated in front of Andorra La Vella's Council in the Lydia Armengol Square. 7 poets. Andorra is not forgettable, for she remembers us, poets yellow by day, multicolored by night. Each on a column, completing 7, the number on our gaze, upwards towards heaven. They gather, my head's in the clouds. What thoughts fill my mind? I wonder, and they gather. Light for us. The sun wants to stay, to light up the sky for us, a little while more. Eyewitness. What is a witness? We say eyewitness, 但耳朵和鼻子也见证. But the ear and nose also witness, bear testimony, discharge the burden of proof and burden of the mind, body, soul of the plaintiff. Upwards towards heaven, the number on our gaze, completing 7, each on a column, multicolored by night, poets yellow by day. She remembers us, forgettable for Andorra is not. Thank you.
Discombobulated. My brain's been scrambled like an egg that's learned to tap dance. My thoughts are doing somersaults in underwater plants. I meant to buy some groceries, but purchased a canoe, and when I tried to tell the time, my watch said purple blue. The stairs are walking sideways and the ceiling's on the floor. I'm pretty sure my left sock just walked out the kitchen door. This discombobulated feeling's got me in its grip. I tried to drink my coffee, but poured it on my hip. Little Pinot's spinning circles and the toaster singing jazz. My keys have formed a union and they're out there cutting grass. Even Litu's looking worried with those satellite dish ears. He's picked up on radio stations from approximately 7 years. His left ear's playing polka while his right ear hums the blues, and both of them are flapping like a pair of pristine parachutes. Eva says she's 30, but she feels 64. She's juggling daily symptoms and a storm of anxiety. She's worried that the furniture is plotting something strange and wondering if gravity will ever rearrange. I'd really like to fix this, but I can't find up or down. My white Podencos tried to help, but they just spin around. Litu's enormous ears are now receiving cosmic mail, while Pinot's caught transmissions from a philosophic whale. So the 4 of us surrender and become a bunch of nouns, while Litu uses his ears as wings and flies us all to town.
Everyone, I represent Serbia. What is Serbia? I'm gonna recite the poem both in Serbian and English. Излетите ли че си известни на сръбски и английски език? That is a double edge. If your boss is disgusting, that is the woman of your dreams. But if you plan to get married, that is your disgustingness. Смърт е Бог и ай. after 4 shifts oddycha. Smyk jeżenia w końcu. Pamiętasz, żenisz. Trochę pozdraw w Libie. Much love to Serbia.
Hi, my name is Ioana Koman. I really appreciate the opportunity and I'm so excited to be here today in the contest. Keep the fingers crossed. The first poem is entitled Killing Time. Poem number 1, Killing Time. Killing time is my favorite. Actually, time is killing people in the end forever. Over and over, again and again. Like a fairy tale which has never been told, no. Therefore, time, it's killing me, it's killing you, in the end. So, I'm asking you a question. Why is time there, forever and ever? And why not us, all of us? Poem number 2 is entitled For You. For you. If you want to dream, stop telling your dreams. I've been there, I've done that. The problem is that I stopped dreaming, and I don't want this happening to you. The third poem is entitled I Just Want to Be Myself. I do not want to be pretty. I do not want to wear high heels like society wants me, like my grandmother and my mother taught me. I know that I'm not ugly without makeup, so just let me be myself, forever and ever. I've always had a long-distance relationship with reality. Hope you did too. Bye-bye.
Listen, I've been searching and lurking, trying to find myself, past all my vices I can't let go. There's a fear is like so of that. I gotta make amends for what I've got. Sorry for chasing something you call absent.
Feels like ain't got no choice. Gotta spin to the mic, I don't like my voice. Don't step to the stage, fans I engage, cause they know chaos not a miss will rejoice you moist. Just taste the cake, the red velvet, a rap from the great big state. 3 decades now, more days to break. Never had to be woke, simply stayed away to stomp the snakes, then collect the venom, inject it slow to your cerebellum. No motor control, kill that momentum. I can't pay attention. I tried to tell them, yo, symptoms include effects of language. Can't write, just mumbled, you sit in anguish. No use in fighting, there's too much damage. And that, boys and girls, is how I vanquish my enemies. No fantasies, you denying it more straight prophecy. Okay, I'm lying, that's kinda silly. I'm not a rapper, it's new poetry. Is that a thing or something to rule? My world's to the cross when juggling dual personalities, and soon you'll see the exact limitations of my normalities. Things and lose my guilt. Gotta go all in from tip to hills. Time I commit, don't let it will. See me and music, look what we built and where we aim. Got a burning flame, was my side chick, now we share some names. Got abstract strokes, interpretation fluid, trying to give a voice to those who've been muted. The sewage polluted my favorite school. I'm suited and fluid for this cesspool with tools to overrule what you call art. 360 joules shot back to start, then insert Descartes. Another revolution. Hip hop with no art, straight prostitution. Don't let motherfuckers out here dictate how you flex your tongue and decimate the weaklings clean to the summer fleeing. Try to save their marriage with new offspring. From my IG, a new era spring. Not just musically, but well, you'll see. Towards the false idols you worshiping, like portraits of Reagan. Oh, a burning bush. Message from God says, light this kush, then chill the fuck out. Now here's the hook.
I'm Colin Will, an old man from Dunbar. Back in 2008, Eleanor Livingston and I were invited to take part in an international poetry festival in Lithuania, in the county of Utena, northeast of Vilnius. We stayed at a homestead-type place on Lake Alausas and toured by minibus around a number of towns and other venues, giving readings with poets from Lithuania, Latvia, Georgia and Russia. The hosts were friendly and hospitable. It was beautiful, and I came to like and appreciate the country, its people and its history. I later published a pamphlet by the Lithuanian poet who was my translator for the festival. At Alausas, the lake is surrounded by deep, dark forest with occasional farms and settlements. This poem was written there, and Eleanor gave me the title, which was the word I'd been looking for. Petrichor. Harsh cries from trees, troll and ogre visions, idyls, nightmares, signless tracks, waterbirds, frogs pumping grunge for a zippy dragonfly. The wind drops, sky is painted colourless. Woods fill with sudden mosquitoes which a nearby smoker's fumes don't dispel. Sound of coalescing drops on plastic roof. Monoblocks darken. There must be a name for the smell of first rain on warm stone. Soil absorbs the early drops. Liquid coats particles, begins to flow through the spaces between grains. Plant roots extend tentative hairs, probe initial water, test its extent. Uncommitted, pending proof of shower's half-life. Everybody says it's needed. It's been too long dry. But there's a sense of something ending. Not summer, but sunny certainties. Thank you.
My name is Peter Penda and I come from Banja Luka, Tiresias. Once my eyes were sea blue and seeing, and my breasts were round and full of milk. I breastfed Thebe with my wisdom. I lived and loved as a man, then as a woman, and again as a man, and saw all sides of the world and the underworld. My wrinkled breasts stayed with me to remind me of life and the world, of God's flaws, spite and envy, and how blindness helped me see beyond the gaze of mortal eyes. I saw my past and felt every hand on my naked body, lust and love entwined, reason blurred by lechery. I recalled each sigh caused by the touch of soft and rough fingers, lips and tongues, and how happy my life was before I became the seer. Then I learned that life's secret was in the readiness to embrace whatever was inevitable.
Transmutations by Mark Burns. I have only spied the kingfisher pictured through poems and captured languid in the lens of another, and still someday I will. I keep translucent totems, scented rosary beads gifted by my sister from Medjugorje. I gathered on the road towards Santiago de Compostela, scallop shells and a straw hat, rain-soaked and sun-stroked. For years I carried in my pocket a green glass stone, a memory charm. On Friday the 13th, my father's least favourite date, I dropped it deep into his uneven, mud-floored grave. I keep on my writing desk a swan feather, purple dyed, a prize from a poet. The quill point to spilled black ink of the words to thrill. This kingfisher I've yet to see is coloured not blue, not green. It's a prism, reflecting shades of past, done and gone. More, it's a kaleidoscope to a future, brightened by tinctures of flying light, the flight of 2 days' turnings.
Lained silitavad mu juuri, kuid taavad mu tüve. Murdumise valu matavad nad pisarates mu lehtedele. Olen puu, sinu lagunevates luidetes, sinu lohkudega kivides. Oma juurtega õõnestan, aga lehtedega katan pinda, milles kasvan. Meie kohtumised on tormilised. Vaikus viib meid üksteisest kaugemale. Minu saladused on sinu sosinates, minu isiklikud lood, mõistatuslikud taipamised. Nagu rabajärved, tasased, sügavad. Nagu sinul, nagu temal. Arusaamade erinevused ja kokkupuutepunktid nagu laudteed laugaste vahel. Vabadus. Valida ja vastutada. Kui sügavale peab sukelduma, et kaldalt näha ei oleks ja lained ei liigutaks. Kui kõrgele peab tõusma, et kaoks peegeldus jõel. Aga jääl, hiilivate pilvede embuses kümblev õhtupäike veel soojendab. Hilissügise viimane lootusrikkus.
Miss Bird by Keatsmack. The pictures flisk by. There's a style unfolding. She kens it by heart, though it's been 30 years syne last it was told her. Rather than pay heed to the finer details of the Western, she's caught in the gut and soul by immersive mindings. Sichs, gusts in her reel, louping around the decades of her life. Textures, the tweed sleeve o' her grandpa, the fur of the family lurcher mixed with the feels of angst in her stomach, our late geography homework. Warmth on her lips for a coos roll-up and the smell of mucked out stables. Corridors and canteens, every job and educational establishment. Freeze frames of pins in a hame, stains round a stank in the back lane. Say, money, gain. Picked off through the years like the characters on screen as the minutes tick by. Her heart breaks. Hour and hour, Life imitates art, say they say.
Pius in the procession passing by her, sitting on a golden throne in Rome to remind each and all of us of our value. She had lived her life of sorrows and joys with the Vatican, her home away from home, and she relied on this North Star as her guide. Love your neighbor, forget and forgive. Seek the bread of life daily, being transformed as we live for others. Yes, that is my mother, who celebrated things big and small, engaging her children in it all. The papal blessing, hanging on our wall at home, celebrated our parents' 25 years of marriage. My mother's heart broke, observing Pop, our dad, so sad in the telling, with his eyes downcast, staring at the floor, sitting by our front door, awaiting his family, who never came. Mom lifted his spirits, filling our home with treats that day, greeting many family and friends who found their way to our home to celebrate with them. My mind returned to those treasured moments while sitting with new friends, women, who work throughout our world, standing with the underserved and the oppressed. They were the best of our Catholic community. Now, sitting all together awaiting our Pope Francis, a profound spirit arose within me of gratitude for them forever. How did this single mother, with few resources, arrive at such a wonderful encounter? All together, as Catholic women speak, we shared our hopes and spoke in our book of our own experiences. We shared with our bishops, hoping for a vote in the synod. Now, we have a vote and representation, and synodality will carve a path from our past to include us all at last, as the Spirit speaks through us. I cannot leave out the marvelous Italian cuisine we shared, and gelato, underestimated in the great fanfare of pasta and pizza. Yet long before the printed word was available, our tired hearts were lifted up to ceilings soaring high above us all in this place, with the magnificence of artists investing their being, illuminating this grace. Our precious jewels were to be found underground, in the catacombs, with lives that tell our history. They are our glory and tell the story of the flow of love in and among us. Their fervent hearts could not accept vacant powers and their disconnect from one another. Our Lady, ever present, intercedes until this day to guide each and all of us in the human family on our way. Hiding within the walls of this city, our glory, to guide and lead us all into global and communal love incarnate as our North Star. We are human after all. That is our glory. That is our story. We all have followed the North Star shining on Vatican City, far from home across the sea, yet home for each of us is here. Our North Star reminds us that we are frail. In spite of how we lose our compass and our vision, despite our fear, we are led back in our confusion to the gospel over and over down the centuries. You see, the toll of the bell in Vatican City stands to remind us all of the vision enshrined in our papal encyclicals, guiding us in our plight so that we might transcend human frailties and crimes against humanity. The pull of grace is ever present here, and when disgraced, we recall our need to reconcile. Receiving ashes once a year makes it clear. We must surrender, for at our center dwells eternal love, and with forgiveness, we walk with the divine benevolence, strengthening us to love, leading us as our North Star.
Representing the Faroe Islands,
a place that I sailed to from north of Scotland across the North Atlantic as a young man. Sea Fever by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick, and the wind song, and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face, and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide. It's a wild call, and a clear call that may not be denied, and all I ask is a windy day, and the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the fragrant gypsy life, to the gull's way, and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep, and a sweet dream when the long trick's over.
Hello, this is Neil Daswani, reading a poem, a prose poem on Armenia. I'm based in Singapore, and Singapore has more than just a tenuous connection with Armenia. Armenia and Armenian Street. Singapore, where I make my home, has a piece of Armenia. Bang in the center of the city is one of its oldest streets, the Armenian Street. Funny thing about streets, they predate and outlast buildings and churches. The street was there before the church was built in 1835. Before that, the street was a street with no name, reminiscent of that number by the rock group America. The Armenian Church of St. Gregory the Illuminator was the first church in Singapore. Somewhere along the way, the word church got dropped from the name of the street. Now, on to Armenia proper. Yerevan is the oldest capital in the world, elbowing Rome out by almost 30 years. Armenia was the first country to embrace Christianity and is very proud of this. Pretty much every one of us will have partaken of Armenian food. Hint. Think lavash, that ubiquitous flat bread. If its lavash has traveled far and wide, then so have its people. There are more ethnic Armenians outside of Armenia than within. I'm told by a relative by marriage who is of Armenian descent that the Armenians of old traveled to Russia and America and France. Indeed, many families like hers traveled to India. It is said that Jaipur in Rajasthan is not the only pink city. The sunset hues of Yerevan are unrivaled as its muted double light bounces off the city's volcanic stone. Yerevan and Armenia never cease to surprise. The country boasts of the oldest winery in the world going back 7,000 years. We can all raise a rosy toast to that. In Armenia, chess is a mandatory subject in school. Whoever pushed for that should be knighted or maybe made king. The country has produced many grandmasters. Armenians are a proud folk who believe that anything is possible, that they can move mountains, and not only metaphorically. Take, for instance, Mount Ararat. Yes, the one where Noah's Ark is said to have run aground. Although this mountain is in Turkey, Armenians claim the mountain as their very own national symbol and icon. Ararat can be seen from Armenia, which sort of legitimizes their claim. What is it with mountains and tall claims? Think of Tanzania and Kenya wanting to arm wrestle over Mount Kilimanjaro. Speaking of wrestlers, you only have to name Artur Alikasanyan and Armen Nazarian and the wrestling world goes wild with applause. Armenians are a proud folk who believe that anything is possible. Amongst their noteworthy diaspora are none other than Cher, Agassi, and surprise, surprise, the Kardashians. Meanwhile, back in Singapore, the Armenian Street is now a cultural and artistic hub. The U.S. Embassy, the United Chinese Library, and the historical school, Tao Nan School, have come, seen, conquered, and moved to other locations. The Armenian Street, Singapore, has outlasted them all.
You found her touch with bark laid bare, her hands outstretched in wordless plea. You swear you saw her standing there, as real as any girl could be. Her beauty darkens with her eyes, her figure uproots any doubt. Then why is it you cannot find her since that sudden summer night? Because, you fool, you've been deceived by shadows in your untaught head. We know you're lonely, still naive, although we thought you weren't unread. You foolish boy, who's never seen a birch, though pretty, stays a tree. More momče bre budalo bre, more momče bre budalo bre. V gradi na tanka topola, zarem ne si videl ti.
Hello, my name is Arian Calcio from Albany, Corch, my city, Albany. Thank you very much for your invitation. My poem in Albanian language. Filozofia e një dite. Edhe kur koha përtace do t'i shtyj ditët e ngrysta të këtij maji të pabes, në monotoninë e mbrëmjeve mondane, nuk do të ndryshoj ligjësia. Njerëzit do të zgjohen në mëngjes me dëshirën për të jetuar një ditë të re të këtij shekulli bionik. Do të dalim rrufeshëm prej shtëpive, pas një gjumi të shqetësuar nën shiun e mërzitshëm konkuistator. Do të takohen vetëtinthi sa për jepudhje, për shëndetje, apo do t'i shkëmbejnë ato me një telefonat. E pastaj do të derdhen në lumin e kolapseve të progresit. Mbrëmja do rikthehet sërisht, e takimet do të marrin frym lirisht deri në orët e vona të natës. Disa zemra të thyera do të rahin më fort, në pritje të humorit të mirë pas ndarjes. Kohë e dur për të filozofuar. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Richard Harries, and I have two poems tonight, one with a connection to Belgium and another with a connection to Russia. The first one, Strange to Be in Brussels, is in my new book, which is published by Like a Blot from the Blue, The Black Dog Came to Stay, and this is Strange to Be in Brussels. Strange to be in Brussels. And what a lovely place. Sunshine bathed the buildings, historic and full of grace, tapestries and lace. How lovely, how welcoming. When I was about 15 and without a home, my father lived there. I was not allowed to visit, not welcome, barred. I never thought I would visit. Now I have, I am glad. A lovely place, and the past is just that, the past. I remember it well,
but I have survived. Dad in Red Square. My dad was not a great family man, but he was a wonderful career man and salesman, was popular, had contacts, clients and friends. He worked for ICI and lived and breathed their fibres division. He sold terylene and nylon around the world and named Crimpoline himself. He had many business achievements. In the 60s, he made news as he was allowed to show off his fabrics in Russia's famous Red Square, no less. It certainly made the papers and may even have been on the news. Quite an achievement for a UK tradesman, quite a distinction in itself. I've Googled it and can't find it, but I'm quite sure that it's true. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is David Armitage. This is for Bosnia. This is called Landing in Sarajevo. The door opens, lights spill in, thin mountain air, the cold on your skin, the mountains wait, quietly breathing. So step down, the tarmac hums beneath your feet. Engines sigh, every sound becomes anew again. The silver skylight forgives, from the valley's lip and smoke curls, stained with the smell of engine smoke, wood and bread. As the lilting vowels and laughter rise like a reverse waterfall, you carry your name in your passport down the hall. Once through and outside, a lovely gentleman lifts your bag. Dobrodosli, he says gently, and his voice sounds as if it's almost like snow that already knows how to melt. And you think, yeah, this is how eras can begin. Places with memories, hearts that forgive as the sky opens up its arms once again. So step down. Hear the hills break into chorus once more, because you are home and safe within the sound of it.
Tu inima mi-ai furat, ca te vis tu ești vinovat. Tu inima mi-ai furat, ca te vis tu ești vinovat. Te iubesc, să știi, nu plec, chiar dacă mă doare. M-ai rănit adânc, nu pot să cred, mă doare și nu înțeleg. M-ai rănit adânc, nu pot să cred, mă doare și nu înțeleg. Te iubesc, să știi, nu plec, chiar dacă mă doare. Tot ce dorești îți voi dărui, de dragostea pe cer vor fi. Tot ce dorești îți voi dărui, de dragostea pe cer vor fi. Te iubesc, să știi, nu plec, chiar dacă mă doare.
Cabir Novruz, sağlığında kıymet verin insanlara. Bir arzum var ay adamlar, koyun deyim. Sağlığında kıymet verin insanlara. Yaxşılara sağlığında yaxşı deyin. Sağlığında yaman deyin yamanlara. Yalnız sağ olanda herkes əsl qiymətini bilər onda. Bu sözlərim düz olmasa töhmət edin. Sizdən rica eləyirəm milyon kərə. Şairlərə sağlığında hörmət edin. Sağlığında heykəl qoyun ölməzlərə. Gələcəyə çoxdur ümid bağlamayın. Sözünüzü sonralara saxlamayın. Səhləm gedir sonralardan, vaxtsız dinən zurnalardan. Boş boğazdan, avaradan, toydan sonra nağaradan sağlığında sevindirin təmizləri. Siz həyatda bu amalla addımlayın. Sağlığında ifşa edin xəbisləri. Satqınlara sağlığında satqın deyin. Tülkü deyin tülkülere, aslan deyin aslanlara, sağlığında kıymet verin insanlara. Herkes bilsin öz yerini necə sağdır. Bu pislerin hayatını kısaltmaktır. Yaxşıların hayatını uzaltmaktır. Bu nedendir ölen kimi kalbimizde adamlara sevgi, hürmet aşıp taşır. Ölen kimi yaxşılar da yaxşılaşır. Yamanlar da yaxşılaşır. Çirkinler de temiz olur ölen kimi. Yadlar belə əziz olur ölen kimi. Xatirələr söyləyirik. Nekrologlar qollayırıq. Hamısını ucdan tutma, yaxşı deyib o dünyaya yollayırıq. Bu gecikmiş xeyir dua kimə gərək? Bundan məzar böyüyəcək? Ya ölen mi diriləcək? Xoşum gəlmir bu köhnəlmiş adətlərdən. Xoşum gəlmir. Bu sərdaba sevgilərdən, hörmətlərdən xoşum gəlmir. İstəmirəm vaxt vədasız şöhrəti mən. Bir an ömrü milyon qızıl ölüm gələ dəyişmərəm. Diri üçün iynə boyda hörməti mən, ölü üçün min heykələ dəyişmərəm. Düz deməsəm onda məni bağışlayın. Üst tutaram uşaqlara, qocalara, cavanlara. Sağlığında qiymət verin insanlara. Yaxşılara sağ olanda yaxşı deyin. Sağlığında yaman deyin yamanlara.
This is Finn Hall, representing Monaco. She had looking glass eyes, the kind that took you places you never knew you wanted to go. A smile so beguiling you weren't sure if she was a land siren, or smiling just to make you feel uneasy. I first saw her and asked the place, refuge from the heavy summer rain, near the basement blank front studio building, on Lafayette. Then again on Waverley Place, by the Art Deco Hotel, and both walking towards the Drummers on Washington Square. Summer recess. There was a paucity of students, but a surplus of tourists, just like me and her, apparently. Third time a charm, as they say, and she looked that way as I walked into the downtown social that used to be the telephone bar by the crosswalk at 9th. She was sitting on her own, reading, at least looking at a magazine, and the roadworks had finished for the day. The silence was a pleasure. She glanced up, and that smile. Ah, that smile. She beckoned me to sit beside her. I hesitated. She smiled. I relented. 2 coffees and a couple of beers later, and a sharing platter of Kung Pao cauliflower and chicken tenders, we agreed to share a trip on the Staten Island ferry, just to tick off another borough, or maybe to find out where the Jacqueline Marchais Museum of Tibetan Art is, just because it's such an un-New York thing to do. No names, no introductions, no reason to know, just a holiday romance without the romance. No photos of the days that followed, no hollow promises to keep in touch, just lunchtime meetups and assignations to make daily plans exploring the city that never sleeps. Walking Bridges, Magnolia Baker, then Hudson Hound, which previously gave out free beverages to early morning walking workers during the 2003 power out. And another past experience, just a few doors up where Dylan met the Clancy brothers. But we didn't stay, as $14 a head for a green salad was taking the piss. Instead, we moved up the block for a Reuben on Rye, shared. For 10 more days we did the usual and the unusual, avoiding crowds, embracing crowds, seeing art and seeping it all in. I mean, quite literally, once during a typical East Coast rainfall, which makes stepping off the curbs an act of defiance, a leap into the unknown. We never asked where we came from, where we lived, where we rented whilst we were there. It didn't matter. We didn't care. It was just 2 weeks and a bit, of going, exploring, from the cloisters to the elevated acre, east to Hudson and BBQ, ticking off the other boroughs before going our separate ways, and taking with us only memories and leaving our footprints in the soul of the city that never sleeps.
Where the fuck is San Marino?